Welcome to another video in the period end closing playlist. In the last video, I explained and demonstrated how to use the Reclassify program in SAP S/4HANA to reclassify open items into long-term and short-term based on the due date. The second function of the same reclassification program is to reclassify the customers that have credit balance and the vendors that have debit balance. And this is necessary to have the correct representation of our numbers in the balance sheet. For example, we all know that customers belong to the debit side in the balance sheet under assets. So they have a debit nature. But sometimes we can have a customer that has a credit balance. This can happen, for example, if a customer bought something from us and then we refunded the customer this amount, but we didn't pay it yet. So we owe money to the customer. Or maybe the customer has paid us a down payment, or any other reason that results in a customer that has a credit balance. In case we have a customer like this, then the value that of the open items of this customer must be reclassified from our asset side, the debit side in the balance sheet, into our liability side, which is the credit side in the balance sheet. To do this, we have to do a financial adjustment to reclassify the open items value. The same reclassification program that we used in the last video can also be used to do these adjustments. In the video today, I'm going to show you a full end-to-end demo on SAP S/4HANA of a customer that has a credit balance, and then our balance sheet before we do the adjustment. Then we are going to do the adjustment together, see the accounting entries, and see the result on our balance sheet. All of this will be on SAP Fiori. And the same demo that I'm going to do today for customers can also be applied to vendors. So if we have a vendor that has a debit balance, we have to reclassify the value of the open items of this vendor from our liabilities into our assets. And then now let's start with our demo. Here I have my SAP Fiori Launchpad, and the demo today is on SAP S/4HANA 2023. And I have created a group of tiles for the reclassification and regrouping. In your SAP Fiori, maybe you're not going to find this group. It's the group that I created myself. You can very easily create your own groups if you want. So if you don't know how to customize your Fiori Launchpad or how to create group of tiles, you can check the Fiori overview playlist where I explained everything about how to navigate and how to customize your Fiori Launchpad. Before I start the demo, I want to add that you can get access to this exact server that I'm using in the demo today. So this is my AG SAP S/4HANA server access. You can get access by going to my website, galalconsulting.com/SAP access. And there you can easily choose the package you want. So either 1 month or 3 months, subscribe, and you will receive a user ID within 1 day that allows you to do anything you want on the server. So you can configure your own company code, purchasing, sales, production management, any functional configuration is allowed. So you can either use my configuration and test the process, follow the videos that I create, or you can create your own configuration as you want. The only thing that we do not allow for now is ABAP development. So if you are a developer who wants to write code, this is not something that I provide to everyone. So if you would like to get access to ABAP programming on the server, you can send me a message and we can discuss. But for functional consultants, so financial, accounting, sales, material management, production planning, quality management, and so on, you can configure anything you want on the server. So once you subscribe, you receive a user ID within 1 day with all the instructions needed to set up the SAP and set up your user and start practicing. You also get access with a subscription to our member documents. So this is our member documents library where I share different configuration documents and different tutorials and so on. So you also get access to this library when you subscribe to the server. And I have a document that explains end-to-end how to configure SAP GUI to be able to start and SAP Fiori to be able to start practicing. The second thing I want to share is if you have access to this members library, so if you are either a member on the YouTube channel or if you have access to the SAP server and you have access to this library also, then if you check the SAP S/4HANA AG from zero configuration, I have added all the configuration steps needed to get the reclassification program running. So if you would like to follow my demo and configure the system yourself, then you can follow the step-by-step configuration that I have in this document. Now let's get back to our demo. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to show you the customer line items. So to see which customer has a credit balance, and also to show you the balance sheet, the actual version of the balance sheet we have now before we do any adjustments. So to display the line items for customers, we go to the tile Manage Customer Line Items. And then I'm going to open another tab. So right click here and then click Open Link in New tab. So this is an easy way to open another window from SAP Fiori. And in the second window, I'm going to run the balance sheet. But until it loads, now let's go here to the customer line items. So here I have selected 2 customers and I have my company code, open items, open on K date 30 June 2025. All the demo I'm running today is as of the end of June. We are in August now, but my demo and my test data is in June. So we imagine as if we are still in June. And then I have here the item type, normal items. These selection criteria came automatically because I have saved them as a layout. So you can save your layout from here. If you want to have some selection criteria, that comes automatically. Then you insert the criteria and then you click here, save as, and you can save your own layout. Then I will click on go. And here I have also another layout that is already coming here. This layout is another layout that I set up myself. You can do so. You see this one? This is the layout for the table. So I have created in my views, I created my own view and I have marked it as default. So whenever I open the transaction, it is selected by default. Now, as you see here, I have 2 customers. One customer has a debit balance. So this is the normal case. It has a debit balance of 43,000. And if I click on the arrow here, we can see the details of all the payments and all the invoices. And I have another customer that has a credit balance. So if I open this second customer, so the customer 210, and this is the customer we are going to use in the demo today, you can see we only have 3 documents. So I have here 1 invoice and 2 credit memos. So the customer had an invoice of 15,000 and then we issued a credit memo for 9,000 and another credit memo for 10,000. Now the net balance for this customer is a credit of 4,000. So this applies to our case for today. This is a customer that has a credit balance. So this balance must be reclassified from our debit side in the balance sheet to the credit side. Now let's go and run the balance sheet and see what we have before we run any adjustments. So to run the balance sheet, I will go again to my group here and I have the balance sheet income statement tile. So click on this tile. And I'm again going to open just another tab for the other transactions. So this is our balance sheet income statement. Here I'm going to insert the company code. I don't have any layout saved. This is why I have to insert the selection criteria again. But I can save my layout, so next time we don't have to do this. So here I have my financial statement version, AG00. This is a configuration object where you actually configure how the financial statement looks like. And we have the company code, the ledger, the currency, and the period. So the period I'm reporting until 6/2025, as per our example. Now I can click on go here. And just to avoid reinserting the same selection criteria every time, I'm going to save this as a layout. So save as, and let's call it ZAG underscore reclass score June 25. Set as default and public so anyone can use it. And save. So now anytime we come here, we can find this layout automatically. Or if you are a subscriber to the server and you would like to see the same exact report we have here, then you can use my layout. Go ahead. So here we have either all accounts, balance sheet, profit and loss, unassigned accounts, and so on. I'm going to switch to balance sheet. And here I have a very simple version for my financial statements that will serve us in this example. It doesn't have all the accounts, but it has what is needed for our example today. So I will open this. Here we have liabilities and equities, and here we have assets. Under assets, we have current assets or non-current. So the video today, we're not going to get into non-current assets. We just want to see current assets. Under receivables, we have domestic and foreign. And here we have our domestic customers account, and we have reconciliation reclassification one. And the balance, we have 403,000 under the domestic customers, and we have 4,000 credit in the reclass. I have already tested the month of June on my own before doing the demo to be sure we don't face any issues. So we already have the numbers, but for the demo today, we can use the month after. So let's use July. I know that I said our demo will be on June. Now I'm going to switch to make it July because I know that I'm going to receive some comments after saying why we switched it. So this is the reason. We already have the example for June. And in order to show you a real clean example, I'm going to switch to July now. So you see the account here. This is the reconciliation reclassification. So let's switch to July and see what we have there. So go to July. And remember that all of these adjustments, they are posted and they are reversed in the first day of the next period. So whenever you run a report and then for the new month, you're not going to find the same reclassification because it's only, it was reversed in day 1 in July. So if I go here to assets, current assets, receivables, domestic receivables, as you see here, we only have domestic customers. We don't have any reclassification yet. And under domestic customers, we have a balance of 403,250. So if I look here into domestic receivables, the total balance of our domestic receivables is 403,000. Now, inside the 403,000, there is a credit balance of 4,000 that we have to reclassify. So let's switch back. Now let's switch to our reclassification program and start the reclass. So the idea is what? The idea is to reclassify the 4,000 from domestic receivables and to add it into our liabilities. Under payables here, to have another reclassification here that will increase our liabilities because we are moving the credit customer from assets to liabilities. Now let's switch to the Fury Launchpad again and go to the reclassification program. So click here. And the program for the reclassification is Regroup Receivables Payables. This is the tile name. So click on the tile. And here I already have a variant that I'm using for my demo. So I will click on Get Variant. You can also feel free to use this variant in your testing if you have access to the server. And this is our variant for today. So I have my company code, the balance sheet key date. So this was June. I'm going to change it to July now. And then we have the sort method AG00. This is a configuration object. And we have the valuation area Z1, also another configuration object. And then here, if you scroll down, we have generate postings. So if we click on this, it will be a productive run. It will actually post the transactions. But first, before we post anything, I'm going to run a test run. So I'm not going to check this, which means that whatever happens is only a report and is not going to post anything. And then we have use a batch input instead of ECS because I want to use batch input sessions. We have the batch input session name, the document type that will be used for the adjustment, the posting date. So this has been determined automatically from the balance sheet key date here, but I didn't press enter. So once I press enter, the date has been modified to 31st of July, and I can change it manually if needed. So if I uncheck this box, I can modify the date manually. No need to do this. I'll keep it as is. The reversal document type, so I can insert another reversal document type here. Otherwise, it will be taken from the configuration of this one. And this is all for this window. Now let's switch to the second tab, selections. Here I have selected only customers, so I don't want to reclassify anything else, only customers. And I have selected my customer, 210. I can run for all the customers we have. I can also run for customers, vendors, GL accounts, and so on. But in order to have a clean example and to be able to track the results, I'm just running for this customer for today. And this is the only thing I'm selecting, this customer. And then if I go here to parameters, I don't need to select anything here. The changed recon account is something that we are going to use in the demo in the next video when we change the reconciliation account, but it's not related to our demo today. It doesn't do any harm. I'm going to leave it. And the output, I have selected save log. So this is important for me because it allows me to see the log of any run I do. So if I open the log list here, I can see the history of all the different tests I did. You see how many tests I have done in order to be able to get this demo right, because I had to fix the configuration, fix errors in the system, and so on. So if you have access to the system now, you can run it without any issues because I've already fixed everything. Now let's go back and execute. So this is the result we have for our execution. You see SAP was able to see the 3 open items we have. So 10,000 credit memo, 9,000 credit memo, and 15,000 invoice. Exactly the same that we have here. Even though here we have done the report for June, but there was no posting in July. Anyway, let's modify the date to have a coherent demo. So here, as you see, we have still the 3 line items. This is what we have in July. And if I go here to the regrouping, we have the same 3 line items. And we have here the net balance is 4,000. Now, if I go to postings, I can see what will be posted once I go back and click on generate postings. So you see here we have 2 accounting entries, one for the adjustment and one for reversal. It is automatically reversed day 1 of the following period. Now, if we look in the adjustment, we have a debit and a credit. So we have a debit to this account, 110092, and we have a credit to this account, 149002. So these are the two accounts I'm using in the adjustments. And just to note that nothing is being posted to the actual reconciliation account. This is very important. Nothing in SAP can post to a reconciliation account except if we post to a customer. And we only do this if there is an actual transaction happening with the customer. So either a payment or an invoice, a credit memo, something that happened with the customer. But for our financial adjustments, we never post to reconciliation accounts, and we are not even allowed to. Even if you try, it will fail. You cannot post directly to reconciliation accounts. So what happens is we post to normal general ledger accounts, non-reconciliation, that we insert in the same places in the balance sheet with the reconciliation accounts to adjust the totals. And this is the whole concept of what we are doing, right? So even the last video, we never post anything directly to the customer or to the vendor or to the reconciliation accounts. We always post to adjustment accounts. So here we have two adjustment accounts, one debit and one credit. All of these accounts are explained in the configuration manual also. And when we look into the final accounting entry now, you will be able to see the description of all the accounts. So this will be our accounting entry, one debit, and so one that is for adjustment in the end of July and one for reversal in the 1st of August. And this will be exactly the same entry but reversed. Now let's go back. And here if I go to messages, this will show me if there are any errors. This is very important. We don't have any errors, so it's okay. Now let's go back. And now I'm going to run the generate postings. So I'm going to run the transaction again, but with postings. So click on generate postings and execute. So now we have executed the program. Nothing happened yet. So the posting did not happen. It just created a batch input session that we have to run. So far, if I check here in the balance sheet income statement, if I refresh this window, we are going to find that we still have the same old balances. Nothing has been posted yet. This is very important because some people forget to run the batch input session. So if I look here, we still have domestic receivables. We only have domestic customers, 403,000. Nothing changed. And the reason we have this is because the batch input session is still waiting for us and waiting for someone to run it. So until we run it, nothing will happen. If I look here in the liabilities also, you can see we still have the same old domestic vendors accounts, only this, and the total balance for payables is 478. I'm going to leave this report as is. I'm not going to refresh it. Let me open another one so we can see the balance sheet before and after. So here I'm going to start another window. Now until it opens, let's go and run our batch input session. To run the batch input session, the easiest way is from here. You go to menu and then you go to system, services, batch input, sessions. And here we have all the different sessions that are available in the system. So you see this mark, the white paper, it means that this is still new, not processed. So I'm going to select it and execute or click on process. So now we have the three options that I explained also in the last video. I have received your comments that you want me to create a separate video explaining how to manage batch input sessions. There are many tips and tricks, so how to skip a transaction, how to restart a transaction, and so on. So I'm going to create another video only to explain how to run batch input sessions. And the other video will start from this step, that we have a batch input session and we run it together. But for now, for this demo, I'm just going to run quickly through the batch input session without mentioning a lot of tricks, because we just want to see the result. So I can either process foreground or background, display errors only. I always choose display errors only to see if there is anything that's not okay. And then click on process. And processing batch input session completed. So all good, we don't have any errors. If I look into the overview, this has been marked as okay, so we are all good. Now let's go and look into a new balance sheet. I'm going to leave this one as is, and let's open another one. So go again to reclassification, regrouping, balance sheet income statement, and we run another balance sheet to see what is the result after. So we already have our layout here, as you see. It has been already selected. So click on go. Now open liabilities and open assets. Inside liabilities, go to current liabilities, payables, And under payables, as you see now, the total balance is 482. The balance that we had before was 478. So this is the whole idea, that instead of having 478, now it's 482. It increased by 4,000 because we had a creditor, a customer with a credit balance. Now, if we go again and continue, so here we have under payables, the balance increased. If you look into the details, you'll find that we have domestic vendors, so this has not changed, and we have customers with credit balance. So this is the new item that we have here. And this is the account 149002 that was posted when we did the adjustment. Now, if you look into the assets, you can see under current assets, receivables, we have domestic receivables and we have other. If you look into the receivables balance, you see that it is 407,250. If we look before, it was 403. So now the receivables balance has increased by 4,000 because we have taken out a customer that has a credit balance. So it increased the assets and it increased also the liabilities. So now the 403,000 here has been updated to 407,000 here. And this is the idea also. If you look into the details, you can see we have domestic receivables. So this one still has the same balance. And then under other, I have added the reclass receivables clearing, and you can see the 4,000 here. So the layout of the balance sheet, so the way the accounts are assigned, is something that we configure under the financial statement version. We can configure it as we want. So I have decided to include the reclassification accounts under a group that's called the other. I can also decide to include it directly under the domestic receivables, but for me, I wanted it to be in a separate group. This is completely up to you when you configure the financial statement version to assign the accounts anywhere you want. So now we understand the concept of reclassifying customers with credit balance. The same applies to vendors. So you can also reclassify vendors with a debit balance. In this case, you are going to take them out of liabilities and add them into your accounts receivables. I hope this demo was easy to follow and to understand. Do not hesitate to leave me your comments and questions. If you want me to explain anything more, if you want me to add anything else into the explanation of the reclassification program, and also if you want me to add something else to the period end closing playlist. This is very important. I still don't have a clean roadmap to the period end closing playlist. So if you want me to add anything, do not hesitate to leave me a comment. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, share the video with your connections, and also join the channel membership program if you'd like to get access to the member exclusive documents, our Slack group, and also if you'd like to get access to this SAP system that I use in my demo, then you can check my website, www.galalacademy.com/SAP-access or www.galalconsulting.com/SAP-access. They are both the same website. And then you can subscribe to the SAP server to be able to configure anything you want, follow the demos, and test the system as you want. Also, if you would like to book a private appointment with me to discuss any topic you want, so maybe you have an interview and you need some help, or if you have questions about the career or about freelancing, then do not hesitate to check my website, www.galalconsulting.com/appointment, and you are going to find my calendar and you can choose any time that suits you. And that's it for the video for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.